What is good, Rush Rivals? This is Lord Tenrai, and I'm back at it again with another Rush Duel Best Decks video. This time covering my Ancient Arise, aka Ancient Forces Dragon deck that I used to get level max rank in Gohar Festival of November to December 2023. Had a lot of fun with this deck. However, as I'm sure you can hear, I do have a bit of a nasty cold. It's been going around a little bit, but bear with me, and we'll get through this video nice and fine. Very excited to showcase how good this deck is. I think this deck is very, very good. I think that personally it is up there with a contender for the best deck. I mean, I've seen it being represented in loads of different tournaments. I've ran into it plenty of times on the ladder, not only in Gohar Rush, but also in ranked duels as well, before the season and the start of the new season in December 2023. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this deck as well. And there's lots of interesting builds. But today I was going to show you this build that I've got right now. However, before we get started, if you do like the video, please like and subscribe. If you have anything you want to get me to cover, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to accommodate you. Now let's get into the deck list. Now, in terms of the deck list, I think this is nothing new. If you've been following the Duel Links Rush Duel, then I think that you'll be very familiar with this type of deck list. However, we'll just go into the general strategy. First things first, this is the boss monster. I mean, obviously Dragius is there as well to back you up, but this is the way that you're winning games. You are using Ancient Arise to pop monsters on the field to gain a clear advantage and to start swinging for huge damage, board breaking as much as humanly possible within your turn. And the way that you get these effects to pop off is with Burning Blaze and Clear Ice Dragon. Now, normally I think these cards would not be very good. I mean, I do like Clear Ice for the particular meta because you can shuffle in Karibots and Vanilla Aquas. However, the utility is very limited. But the skill is what really shines with this deck. This skill, I think, is almost like as good as Dragonic Resonance, and Dragonic Resonance is an insane skill. Like, I think that skill is almost broken. Like, it is so good for dragon decks as a whole, but this skill is like just as good, but it's very limited to obviously the Ice and Blaze dragons. But that is what you want, because as I will explain, the synergy that you have with getting around back row and playing against your opponent's set cards is absolutely insane. But basically, this skill basically reads that you can give Ice and Blaze Dragon 1k attack, and then if you want to, you can then send a level 6 water or fire attribute dragon type into your graveyard, so you can start milling your deck so that when you do draw a Rise, you could go straight to popping, which is insanely good, because that is what we're here for. Yeah, this card very, very good. You get up to 3k and you start popping stuff with 1500 or less defense, and it's just great. You can score OTKs very quickly. You can get huge leads very, very quickly, and it's very obnoxious to deal with. It's very hard to defend against it as well, which I'll explain when we come into the rank duels, hopefully, if I can remember. Dragius obviously picking up slack here. It is the second boss monster. I still think it is like the best card in the game, for obvious reasons. It comes up everywhere. I think if it wasn't for the fact that Dragonic Resonance is so good at using like multiple copies of Dragius, I think that this deck would probably outshine Dragonic Resonance. However, I did notice that there are more builds now using more 2 tribute monsters. So we are seeing a lot of players use 2 to 3 Dragius, sometimes cutting out Phoenix Dragon entirely so that you can run 3 of this, which I personally don't agree with, but it is what it is. I think that if I was to play this deck again, I would probably bump this up to 2, and I'd take Phoenix Dragon down to 1. Phoenix Dragon, excellent card. Basically just a monster reincarnation for dragons. The best way to really use this card is either A, which is the best case scenario, dump a Vanilla Aqua so that Seahorse Carrier can do plays, or alternatively, if you have two of these and you can only tribute one, then you could potentially discard one of them, play the other one, and then mill, and then hopefully later on in the duel, obviously draw into your Rise Dragon. But it ultimately depends on your hand. Best case scenario though, and the usual case scenario as well, is that you are dumping a vanilla monster, even if it's Jaggerite. Even if you're dumping Jaggerite, that's fine, because chances are Jaggerite is mostly used for the tribute, just to round out the deck. Sometimes you will use this to crash into other 1500 vanillas, but you know it's not really what you want. It's more so just the way that you're just controlling the duel, right? Anyway, we jumped a little bit ahead of ourselves. Seahorse Carrier still the best normal summon in the game, bar none. I see that some builds are using Karibot, so like they'll take out, like, I don't know, they'll take out Jaggerite and they'll just play Karibot instead, which is fair enough. Like, I respect that decision. I think it's a very interesting way to play the deck. However, if you're already playing Seahorse Carrier, I don't think you also need Karibot on top of that, because you are already able to facilitate lots of tribute summons with Seahorse Carrier in conjunction with Ice Blaze and Arise Dragons. So that's just my take on the build. Yeah, as I mentioned before, sorry, just in case I didn't mention it, because I am ill, I would play 2 Dragius and 1 Phoenix Dragon. Then we're running Thunder, literally same thing. We're decreasing the opponent's monsters so that we can swing into them, especially now that Barrier is, like, we're seeing lots of Barrier now in play. Ideally, if you have Barrier, if they have Barrier and they, for example, have like a Sevens Road, and we have Dragius and then or Ancient Arise, then worst case scenario, Dragius crashes into Sevens Road. Best case scenario, Ancient Arise can safely go over Sevens Road. Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, another case scenario is like, actually that's pretty much all that is really. Anything else, and you're risking fate. Like, if, for example, they've got like a Dragius on board and they have the Barrier and you've got Burning Blaze, that's still not enough for you to get over. You will just go to 24 and you'll die. So really the best way to go into their Dragius is with your Arise to safely go into it, right? But that's that. But yeah, Thunder, great. I mean, like, you're discarding vanillas so that you can decrease and gain huge advantage in life points and potentially OTK the opponent, which is all good stuff. Burning Blaze and Clear Ice Dragons. These are obviously here to just flesh out the skill. The really neat thing about these two cards is that in a meta where obviously Widespread Ruin is in every single deck, like, let's be honest, if you're not running Widespread, then why are you playing Rush Duel? The really neat thing, and I think this will work when I'm running 2 Dragius with this deck, is when you use the skill to buff this or this to 28 or 26 respectively, and you swing with Dragius, they cannot widespread you. Yeah, so if they've got one set and you think that one set is widespread, you can play around widespread with the skill, and it's so easy to do. You just swing with Dragius, and if they're widespread, they're taking out the Clear Ice or the Burning Blaze. If you think that it's more of like a Barrier situation, like they've got set 2, and you think, okay, they're using widespread in conjunction with Barrier, then you can swing with Burning Blaze first, then swing with Dragius second, and you can kind of sense what's going on there, right? If they use Barrier first and they've still got a second set and they've got, let's say, like, for example, a Sevens Road, then you might be a little bit hesitant. You can wait till next turn as long as your defense is good, but that's where the mind game comes into play. This deck is, I think, a bit more of a control-orientated focus for Dragons. Very mid-rangey, not like humongous boards. Usually you'll end with like a boss monster such as an Ancient Arise, and then you'll have like a Burning Blaze on field, ideally. Very rarely, at least in the case of my build here, will you have Ancient Arise and Dragius. I did not see that often, but I think there's one replay where I do have that board. So you want to take things relatively slow, and yeah, the really nice thing about Clear Ice is that you can shuffle in their revival targets. So if you see Karibots in their graveyard, you see Vanilla Aquas in their graveyard, mill them in ASAP Rocky, because you do not want them to do Seahorse or Karibo plays. Absolutely not. The rest is pretty self-explanatory, like I already mentioned. We're going to spells and traps, so Go Cyclone, repping the Prismatic there, very nice pull on my end. I have seen plenty of builds where it's a bit more offense orientated, where instead of playing one, they will play two, so they'll just straight up take out the monster reincarnation because they're playing two Phoenix, and they'll go boom. They'll play two Ghost, so that's a bit more aggro if you want to be able to like safely swing into their board. However, I really like monster reincarnation. I like being able to get my boss monsters back as often as possible. That's why I'm running the two Phoenix and the one reincarnation. In that case, or I should say in this case, I do not need to run multiple Dragiuses. But if I was to change the deck around, then yeah, I would bump down Phoenix to 1, put Dragius to 2, and at this point, because our ratios are pretty good for our boss monsters, and we've still got one Phoenix, we might not even need monster reincarnation, but we'll see. But yeah, monster reincarnation, absolutely great in this build. You are always recycling your boss monster, ideally discarding a vanilla of your choice. Widespread Ruin, I'm not even going to talk about this card. It's pretty much one of the best cards in the game. Completely wins games by itself. I am still scooping to this card in ranked. Like, it is what it is. I'm sure you guys are scooping. I've forced my opponents to scoop. Like, this card will make people scoop. That's it. And then Princess Recital. So I've seen some people play Barrier. However, I've also seen people play Phantom Bind, which is also a very good idea, considering that Dragons is the most popular archetype in the game right now, or I should say the most popular type. However, I really like Recital in this deck because all you really need is to keep one monster on field. It could be anything. It could just be a Kana, right? It could be a Jaguarite. It could be anything, right? It could even be a freaking Seahorse carrier. If you have one monster on the board, you can steamroll the opponent next turn as long as you draw a healthy card or a healthy hand of tributes and non-tributes, right? Ideally, every time you draw a hand, especially a 5-card hand, you want to see one Ice or Blaze and 1/2 tribute monster. And if we're really lucky, we're either seeing a Phoenix Dragon so we can start plays, or we're seeing a Seahorse carrier so we can start plays, right? From the hand. You're either starting plays from the hand or plays from the graveyard. So that's why I really like Recital, because it's excellent for tribute decks. Like we see this a lot in Royal Rebel. I think it's excellent here. So yeah, I would recommend using it. Like I said, in terms of if I was to change anything, I think I would bump Dragius to 2. So if I put Dragius to 2 for 1 moment, take this down, put this up, and then potentially, like this is me like proper in the mode thinking here. I think I do like the fact that I can be a little bit more aggressive, especially when we have Music Recital for defense. So I might even take out Reincarnation and add in a second Cyclone so that we can safely attack the opponent into back row. Because frankly, there were times in Gohar Rush where really all I had was an Ancient Arise. I'd pop a card, swing into their Dragius, and they'd widespread me. And then I was like, right, okay, well that's a GG. Like, GG, move on to the next game. But anyway, enough about that. This is what I played. And this is what got me to Gohar Rush Festival 2023 with max rank. Had a ton of fun with this deck, and I'm going to show you some replays right now. I hope you enjoy them. Right, so here we are. So yeah, as you can see, got max power with Gohar Rush. As I'm sure you can also see, have not touched Speed Duel in a while, and I still need to get Cog, but hopefully we'll be getting Cog some point within the near future. Especially now that I am done with the whole Gohar Rush stuff. So let's go into some replays. So I think that the biggest thing that I would definitely change, and I've obviously mentioned it in the first half of the video, is I would 100% put at least 2 Dragius in. I've also seen builds where people are playing 3 Arise Dragon, which, I can also understand, but then you're looking into ratios of clear and ice, and don't get me wrong, like the skill helps to facilitate you milling those cards, but I do like the ability of being able to consistently draw into a level 1 tribute monster, beefing it up to 26 or 28, and then swinging, trying to force them to use their widespread. Anyway, relatively you know, chill hand for now. Only a Lamoon and a Phoenix Dragon. We need some defense here. We're seeing Luke on the other side. That can only mean trouble. So, you know, we set up these cards. Now, one thing I do want to ask you guys, and please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Do you guys, like, how often do you guys summon the the one tribute monster on your first turn to then mill? Because I always look at a hand like this and think, well, I could potentially go for a 4-card draw, but at the same time, I really, really, really do not want to lose any life point deficit, right? And if I set 2 monsters and have a back row, chances are they're going to have to use a lot of resources just to deal damage to me. So I usually do not go for this. However, if I see clear ice, I will usually set the clear ice with a tribute set, and that allows me to defend against cards like Jaggerite, which this guy will just swing with and he'll be okay. But yeah, please let me know, because I'm trying to get better, obviously, all the time with games like this, right? And this is a great way to learn. But yeah, I see people tribute summoning on their first turn, and then I will just swing in turn 2 and deal damage, and you know, get the lead basically. But I suppose if you can, you know, life points don't matter too much. Anyway, we're gonna tribute someone for Dragius right now. Then we're going to go for Burning Blaze, and this is the situation that you ideally want. You want to be able to clear their board. This is like a monster clear board, right? We're going to reduce all of their monsters to 0. If he widespreads the Blaze Dragon, then we just do not care. So we're swinging, we're successfully hitting the Dragon right here, and then we clear the board. And then we also have a Recital, so that if he leaves the Blaze alive, then we can use the skill, beef up the Blaze, mill more, and then hopefully set up the Arias Dragon. He gets out a Gravity Press here. I think this card is getting less and less utility. In my personal Dragonic Resonance deck, I only play this at 1, because I think the card is too volatile. All it takes is like one Thunder on your turn, and this card is like a pipsqueak. Like, look at its biceps, it's just brass, like, it goes to 1200. Like, what kind of dragon are you where you have biceps like this, and a Thunder can reduce you to 12? Like, what is that? Anyway, Recital to save the Blaze Dragon. And then double set Kana, tribute for Rice here. Activate the skill, giving it a K and sending the other clear Ice Dragon to the graveyard so that we can facilitate a Rice Dragon plays right here, right now. Unfortunately, milling the Ghost Cyclone. However, this deep into the duel, ideally we do not want our board to get nuked, so we don't mind milling it as long as our board does not get absolutely obliterated. He flips up the Phantom Bind. That's not a huge deal to us. I even think he might have been better for him if he used it on the Blaze Dragon, but it is what it is. Deal a ton of damage, 1200. He's got a K left. Goes for the Sports Dragon play. It's going to go right into the Tribute Summon. And then Monster Reincarnation. He gets Triad Drago, which I just do not understand. I think at this point I'm like, right, okay. He's obviously going for draws here, right? So he needs the draws. However, I would have been a bit more defensive. I would have set this and set the Jaggerite and just tried to play safe. And then he swings with he activates the effect of Triad Drago, draws a card. This card's probably bunk. He can't use it. Widespread Ruin the Dragius, and then he attacks into my Jaggerite, and then he swings into death. Which, you know, it ultimately it is what it is. We do not know what his set card was. He might have had a widespread. I just think setting the Dragius there and then setting the Reincarnation, he might have been able to survive a turn and potentially make a comeback. However, he was massively behind. Anyway, next game. Going up against Lucho Mixu. Another Roman Cassidy build. Like I said, like, I'm seeing so many Roman Cassidy decks. She is getting amped up all the time. It's very interesting to see. I really like this box because it has brought a lot of strategies to the table, right? Once again, pretty much the same hand as before. We're seeing our Agent arrives, we're seeing our Blaze Dragon, and we're setting 2 and the Recital and passing. She sets 3 in the back row and 1 in the front. So yeah, we're gonna go double Burning Blaze here, so we could try and like really push for some decent damage on the board. Like I said, like we're gonna set all these spells. If he wants to use Widespread Ruin, that's absolutely fine. If he has Recital, that's also fine. He has neither. Let's swing for some damage. For some reason, uses the barrier really early, midding in the Strange Cat, which I just do not understand. Like 400 damage this early into the duel, it's not worth it. Dragorite, Thunder, no use of the ability, goes into Fire Guardian, tributes both of them for Dragius, and then we're just gonna widespread the Dragius. Like, he overcommitted his hand, and now we're just gonna go for lethal. Let me just speed that up. Literally means, all of this means absolutely nothing. We're midding, we're swinging, and he's dead. I should say midding, it's actually shuffling, but you get the idea. Yeah, that guy just did not play well. Surprisingly, when I was going through Gohar Rush, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I think I had like 60% win rate, maybe a little bit higher. I did run into some decent players, but a lot of players were bad. Like, I think when I first started playing, I think I had like a 15 wins in a row from level 0 to level 45, and I did not stop. I literally just got win after win after win, and I thought like, oh my god, I'm going to upload a video where I just did not lose in Gohar Rush, but unfortunately eventually you brick. I think I even bricked to a freaking beetle down deck, which was just absolutely absurd. I was so sad, of all things, to brick against beetle down. Anyway, set 3 pass, still drawing into Recital, which is excellent for us because it gives us a guaranteed tribute for next turn, unless they do pop with like a Hammer Crush. However, he sets 5, really good ratios on his part, he drew very, very well. Set 5 pass, 27 cards left in deck. Gonna go straight into Dragius. Go straight into Burning Blaze. Go straight into Clear Ice. And we're just gonna start threatening. So the reason why at this point we go Clear Ice for the skill buff is because if we swing with Clear Ice and he widespread ruins our Clear Ice, we do not give anything. We do not care, right? We swing with this, that goes in the graveyard. Yeah, fair enough. We don't have the monsters yet to facilitate a Rise Dragon skill, but we can either always tribute the Blaze Dragon to activate a Rise, or alternatively, the opponent will just get rid of this card for us. And then that way, we've still got high attack values on the field. If we go Dragius, then Arise, Dragius, then Blaze, and then Dragius again, that's still 25 for board. So, you know, very, very happy with the situation. Unfortunately, we milled the Seahorse Carrier, which is a shame. There's absolutely no way for us to mill back in the Seahorse Carrier. The only way we can get it back is with Monster Reincarnation. So yeah, we swing twice. Yeah, the order of attack that we did was Clear Ice first, then we did Dragius, then Blaze, then Dragius. I think that was the best way to go about it as well. Actually, it was not. What we could have done instead is just swing with Blaze, swing with Dragius, because the widespread still would have affected the Clear Ice Dragon because it's the highest value on the field. And then if we have confirmed that they have not got the widespread, then we swing with the Clear Ice and we get a bit more damage on board there. That was a little bit of a misplay on my end. Apologies. I'm learning all the time. Anyway, Seven Rose Witch, absolutely humongous. Seven Rose Magician, humongous. Unfortunately, we can't activate Recital, but we're okay here. We can still buff up Burning Blaze to 28. We activate Ancient Forces, sending another Blaze Dragon, and we're just going to go straight into our plays here. We've grabbed the Seahorse Carrier. Because we don't need 2 Thunders, frankly. We grab the Seahorse, we activate Seahorse effect, best normal summon in the game. We're going to get our Ancient Arise Dragon, we're going to pop the SRM right now. Then we're going to activate Phoenix Dragon effect. We're going to grab back the Dragius. Then we're going to tribute summon the Dragius. And then this way as well. So the reason why at this point, at this juncture, we tribute the Arise instead of the Burning Blades is that we're still playing around Widespread. At this point, we have not confirmed that Widespread's been used. He might have it in the back row. We're swinging with Dragius and we're swinging with Burning Blaze. If he Widespreads us, we still have another board clear and we still have Recital in the back row. So I was pretty happy with my attack target declarations at that point. Right, anyway, that was Nezuki. Just going straight into the fourth game, which is against Reda. There wasn't a lot of Royal Rebels that I played up against. I think the deck is kind of slowing down a bit now since it was released with Heavy Metal Storm. It just isn't really putting in the work that people want of it. So we're going to set, and we're going to set the Phoenix Dragon. Hopefully we will be able to keep the carrier later for plays. So he sets all 5 and passes. Good ratios. So we're going to go clear Ice Dragon. We're not going to overcommit either. We're just going to set our cards. We've still got Seahorse plays for later. We're swinging with clear Ice. We take out the Gazelle. Well, he brings out Mystic Dealer. Doesn't even use the effect. I just do not understand this play at all. Swings of Mystic Dealer, and then ends turn there. He's got 3 in the back row, so we don't want to like massively overcommit. However, we did draw a second Arise Dragon, so we're kind of okay here. We can, you know, summon 1 and keep the other one for later. And we still have Monster Reincarnation just in case. We pop the Mystic Dealer. We summon the Jaggerite. We're going to swing with Clear Ice, we're going to swing with Jaggerite, and then we're going to swing with Arise Dragon. He activates Barrier, brings it down to 26, shuffles in the Mystic Dealer. Absolutely fine with that. More sets. So we summon Burning Blaze, and then we just go through the standard here. We mill a Burning Blaze, Phantom Bind. We barely get over the Wind Dragon or the Fortress, and then we're just swinging. We just be swinging. Mystic Dealer effect, draw a card, and then he's setting. And then he's bringing out the Curse of Dragon, and he's going to swing straight into the Clear Ice, taking out 400 of life points. Not a huge deal to us. We really just do not care at this point. We have another Clear Ice in hand anyway. We activate, we pop the Curse of Dragon. We get another Clear Ice Dragon. We be swinging. Another one, and then another barrier. Another 3k swing, another barrier. 26 again. Honestly, not really much to talk about. Very standard game. Normal summons 2. Activate Thunder for effect. This is it. Royal Rebels Heavy Metal. Unfortunately, not being able to get the effect here because he tribute summoned 2 level 4 monsters. However, still swinging here with 25. So he takes out our Arise Dragon. We still do not really care because we have Burning Blaze to go up to 28. This is pretty much all but over, especially when we are drawing as well as this. We are getting Seahorse Carrier, grabbing the Kana, going straight for the set, getting Ancient Arise, popping. Excellent pop, Monster Reincarnation, and then he scoops because he knows what's coming. He's brown bread, he's dead. Very, very easy game there. A couple more games and then we're going to call it a day. Yeah, I think this deck is like insanely good. Like I said, like I think it's right up there with Dragonic Resonance as like the best deck in the game. Like it's not the same as Dragonic Resonance. Like you have to have a bit more of a mid-rangey control vibe to it rather than you're just rushing. You have to be able to set up your board, keep the Arise in hand for when you need to pop big cards that are like giving you massive trouble. And that's what the recitals are there for, to help keep some sort of board presence for your turn. However, I have a lot of fun. Even as an aggro player, I had a lot of fun with this deck. And I think, like I mentioned before, I think in the future, I will probably add more back row hate. So more Ghost Cyclones, so I can pop more consistently and gain that offensive advantage. Right. Normal summon of Jaggerite, tribute Burning Blaze. Normal summon of Jaggerite. activating skill, milling clear ice. We set the recital. We swing 800 for Psy Bounger. We're just gonna crash. We crash here because that makes our recital live. It is a risky play, don't get me wrong. Like, I know some of you in the comments are like, why would you risk that? But really, like, we can afford to. It's not a huge loss to us. He ends up like drawing a Brahman pick anyway. Tributes Romic and Roller, and it doesn't even use Romic and Roller, just goes straight into the Prima Katana. Takes a K to boost up to 25, swinging for like 700 here. We obviously recital this, and then we just have so much advantage right now. Like, we draw into Seahorse, which is huge. We mill the Burning Blaze. We are ready. Popping the card, and then we're just swinging for fat damage. He never reveals a set card. I do not know what any of these set cards are. Like, I just do not know what those cards are. They are obviously garbage, but I just wish I knew. Anyway, we're going to one more game. Like I said, like, there's a lot of duelists in Goha Rush that just weren't very good. But I think that there are quite a few players that are playing Rush Duel that still do not really understand the format, and it's just gonna take time. Anyway, pretty good hand starting off with. We're able to set 5 here. We're going to set the Clear Ice Dragon. We set the Phoenix Dragon. And then we're just setting the other 2 cards, which is a Widespread and a Reincarnation. Draws for his 5th card. Celtic Guardian. OG as fuck. Tribute summons for SRM. Dragorite. Activate SRM. Boosts up to 27. So he swings here with Dragorite first into Clear Ice. Then at this point, right, at this juncture, right, we are very, very, very comfortable going for Widespread Ruin, taking out the SRM. We've got a 5-card draw. We've got another Dragorite. If we're really desperate, like, we can, you know, if we really have to, we can use Reincarnation to get Dragorite, but we know our hand's going to be good, right? We are able to get damage on the board here. At bare minimum, we're getting at least 2k, no matter what kind of hand we have. So this Widespread Ruin is to gain a fat lead. It might not seem like great value, but at this particular point, I'm very comfortable spending the Widespread here, taking out the SRM. Like, if we draw Dragius at this point, it's game. That's how good that Widespread is. And guess what? We freaking draw the Dragius. Love to see it. We mill the other Clear Ice. Tribute summon the Dragius. Normal summon the Moon. Or sorry, set the Moon. Summon Burning Blaze. We have all 3 of the boys here. And then we just start swinging. We mill the Kana, which is just excellent for us. This is lethal. Yeah, and that's it. And that is it. We do so well in that hand that Superman, you know, he was not so super then, was he? Let's be honest. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Apologies again for the cold. Hopefully next video I'll sound a little bit more chirpier, a little bit more healthier. But yeah, otherwise, stay safe. Hopefully next video I will be posting a video of my Stage 2 Goha Rush. Hopefully I get a lot of time with it. We'll see. Otherwise, you will also be seeing a King of Games for December 2023 coming up later in the month. Regardless though, I hope you enjoy Rush Duels as much as I do. Stay safe, take care, peace.